Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Saturday, February 4th, 2017. Welcome and thank you for joining us tonight for the English edition of Aura News, where we bring you today's top stories translated into English every weeknight. The great Albanian writer Dritero Agolli has passed away. On Friday, despite recent medical treatment in Tirana's University Hospital, the 85-year-old author lost his battle against a pulmonary disease which had aggravated his health condition. Agolli was born in a village near Korça, later studying at the Faculty of Arts at the University of Leningrad. Upon his return to Albania, he took up journalism, working for a daily newspaper for 15 years. Agolli was also a deputy in the Albanian parliament. Mr. Agolli started his writing career as a poet of short verses, later becoming a prose writer, writing numerous verse collections and novels, which most of are translated into a number of foreign languages. Dritero Agolli was one of Albania's best literature writers, having been honored numerous times. In recognition of his outstanding contributions, the great writer was awarded with the Honor of the Nation title and declared an honorary citizen of Tirana in 2003. He was also named honorary citizen of Korça, Gjirokastër, and other Albanian cities. Dritero Agolli won 4 prizes of the Republic and several annual literary prizes. He also became a member of the Academy of Florence Muses in Italy. On his 82nd birthday in 2013, the great writer was honored with the Carlo Levi Award in Italy. Homage for the renowned Albanian writer will be held tomorrow from 10:30 to 1300 at the Palace of Congress. He will then be buried at Tufina Cemetery. State representatives and prominent figures in the Albanian literature and art world extended their condolences to Dritero Agolli's family and expressed gratitude for the works he left behind. The former Minister of Culture says he is proud of having been friends with such a great and simple person as Dritero Agolli. Many people paid homage to the writer's house in Tirana. Some citizens from the village where Agolli was born say he always advised them to remain united. The Albanian president, on behalf of the Albanian people, expressed his condolences to the writer's family, saying, "Albanian literature will be missing a writer with valuable creativity, a bright writer and a poet, author of precious literary creativity which enriched the treasure of Albanian people's spiritual heritage. Our society lost the sighted thinker who, with his rare contributions during 2 historical periods, left an indelible mark as the protagonist of the emancipatory movement over more than half a century, as in art, as in Albanian politics of the pluralism era." Prime Minister Rama wrote on his Facebook account, "Farewell, Dritero. May you rest in peace on the soil where you left behind a mountain of eternity, which will be a place of pilgrimage for all the lovers of Albanian literature from generation to generation." Parliament Speaker Ilir Meta said, "Today, the Albanian world is much poorer and the pain is much more immense. My heart and thoughts go out to the Agolli family. Condolences to the entire world of Albanian writing and to our culture. Dritero Agolli was a great reformer of Albanian literature and gave Albanian politics an outstanding contribution. An Albanian man with deep roots and strong character," said the Assembly Speaker. DP Chairman Luzambasha said, "The Albanian nation has lost the colossus of Albanian script, our great poet and writer of genuine people. I have had the privilege to know and meet him. His works are eternal. May he rest in peace." Dritero Agolli will be missed by all Albanian people, including the president of RTV Aura News and the staff of Yulden Media Group, who stand close to the writer's family, expressing condolences for their loss. The president of RTV Aura News, Mr. Yuli Ndroqi, considers Dritero Agolli one of the most important dignitaries in Albania, who had an irreplaceable role during dictatorship and gave valuable contributions in the first years of pluralism, a person with exceptional values and rare works which will eternally remain in our nation's memory. He has always considered Mr. Agolli as a spiritual writer and has used his advice and encouraging messages to guide him as a leader. Recently, Mr. Ndroqi paid a visit to the writer's house where they discussed impartiality, adding value to the media market, a testament left by Dritero Agolli. I have followed Ora News, which is an independent news station. It is original and different from other news stations. Ora News is one of the best TV stations. It is close to people and to different strata. It does not forget the intellectuals, the people of culture and art, and this is a very good thing, the writer said during the visit. Mr. Ndroqi says the words of advice by the great Dritero Agolli will serve as a guide and as a motive to be close to Albania's citizens and their interests. There is no farewell for Dritero Agolli. People will meet him in the poetry, in the prose, and in all the works he left behind as his heritage. We will all miss his proverbs and sayings. Mr. Ndroqi expresses his sincerest condolences to the writer's wife, daughter, and son. The U.S. is not withdrawing from the judicial reform after a recent clash between the U.S. Ambassador Donald Toulouse and the Prosecutor General Adriatic Lala. The U.S. Embassy appealed to all qualified citizens to apply for membership in the vetting commissions. In a posting on its official page, the U.S. Embassy says, "We call on patriotic, qualified Albanian citizens to apply to serve on the vetting commissions." The application process has already begun, and all the details are at the Ombudsman's website. The U.S. Embassy's announcement comes after the U.S. State Department spokesman Mark Toner praised the U.S. Ambassador's efforts to move forward with the judicial reform, conveying his belief that it can be done. Yesterday, the U.S. Ambassador guaranteed that the judicial reform will succeed in stopping corruption in the judiciary. The Association of Judges of Albania has reacted to the visa cancellations for some of its members. In a press statement, the Association of Judges claimed that public figures and certain groups are making unfair attacks and accusations against justice authorities, saying the justice system officials do not want the judicial reform. The association says they will not allow the dignity of the justice officials to be trampled, highlighting that the people within the justice system have contributed to the judicial reform. The association says that the pressure on the justice system officials is growing more and more. We feel disappointed by the fact that denigrating comments about the justice system, aiming to delegitimize the system in the eye of the public, are being told to the public. This is undermining the foundations of the justice system's success. We fear that the rhetoric being used against the system, and especially the statement related to the last event, is likely to be amplified and serve as a means to pressure the new constitutional bodies, not allowing them to carry out the mission for which they are created, to consolidate the rule of law in Albania, reads the reaction. The association also stated that the visa revocations should be seen separately for each case and should not serve as a means to measure the justice institutions. They should not serve as decision-making criteria for the institutions that will realize the vetting process. Prime Minister Rama announced that he is in Istanbul today for a working lunch with the Turkish President Erdogan. On his social network, Prime Minister Rama said that he and the Turkish president will discuss a project to construct an airport in the southern coastal city of Vlora. A working lunch with President Erdogan in Istanbul to discuss Vlora Airport project, Albanian Airlines, and other strategic investments, the Prime Minister wrote on Facebook. It would seem that the promise for constructing an airport in Vlora has entered the discussion phase in preparation for the implementation and construction of the airport. That's all for our English edition this evening. Please join us again Monday through Saturday at 6 p.m. for your local news in English. My name is Mari, and on behalf of Ora News, thank you and good night.